Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever spent a good hour learning new words, maybe for a test or just, work stuff,
hmm
only to wake up the next day and they're just gone. Poof.
Oh, yeah. That is like the classic learner frustration, isn't it? You put the effort in, but the memory,
Yeah,
it just doesn't seem to stick around.
exactly. It feels like pouring water into a leaky bucket.
Right. It's that difference between just holding something temporarily in your head and actually getting it properly integrated.
Into long-term memory where you
Yeah,
can actually use it.
precisely. We fill up that short-term buffer, but we often, we fail to build those strong connections needed to really lock it in for good.
So today we're trying to cut through some of that noise. We've gone through a whole stack of sources, academic stuff, language guides, cognitive strategies.
Yeah, really digging into
We're
it.
all looking for, the smartest ways to really hold on to vocabulary long term.
And our mission really is to get you past those frustrating lists that just fade away. If we had to boil down everything we read into one core idea,
What would it be?
it's this. Success isn't about just repeating things endlessly. It's about actively making meaningful connections with every single word you learn.
Ah, connections. Okay, so turning those abstract words on a page into something more real.
Exactly, like turning flashcards into actual experiences in your mind.
Okay, let's dive into that. The absolute foundation seems to be context and active use. The sources all agree on this, right? Don't learn words just floating in space.
Absolutely not. That sterile list of word equals translation. It's almost designed to be forgotten.
Why is context so powerful, though, from like a brain perspective?
Well, think about it. When you just learn apple, it's just a sound linked to an idea, kind of abstract.
Yep.
But when you learn, say, I eat an apple every morning, you're hooking that new word onto things already solidly wired in your brain.
Like my routine, eating, morning.
Exactly. You're linking it to actions, time, habits. You're essentially giving that new word a proper home address in your neural network, not just leaving it homeless.
So it's not just knowing the definition, it's knowing its job, its utility.
Precisely. And that leads to the advice about prioritizing. Learn the words you actually need first.
Right.
The useful
To
stuff.
travel a lot. Yeah. Learn bus, ticket, coffee.
Yeah.
Because you'll use them constantly.
And that frequent natural use is the best memory aid there is, really.
It really is.
Yeah.
If you use a word 10 times today in real situations, you probably don't need a fancy trick to remember tomorrow. It's just there.
Okay, so the goal is active vocabulary words you can just pull out when needed. How do we make sure we get past just, recognizing them on a page?
Ah, that's the big leap, isn't it? From passive knowing to active doing. You got to integrate it beyond the study session.
Like take it out into the wild.
Basically, yes. The moment you learn a word, go find it. Look at menus, signs, product labels in the shop, headlines online. Make it real.
So the world becomes your textbook, in a way.
It does. And then, the absolutely crucial step, use it immediately.
Right now. Right now. The sources really emphasize this. Learning isn't finished until you've produced the word yourself.
Nah.
So if you learn curious, you need to make your own sentence. Like, I'm curious about these memory tricks.
Yeah.
Boom. Done. You've used it.
Okay. And I know sometimes learners, myself included, we kind of get stuck on just the main word like run.
Yeah, very common.
But the sources say go wider, like learn the whole family.
Absolutely. Don't just stop at run. No ran. Running. Maybe
Yeah.
runner, the noun. Maybe even runnable, the adjective.
Why does that help so much?
It gives the word dimension. It makes it feel, as the sources say, more alive. It's not just one isolated item anymore. It's part of a network with different roles.
Yeah.
That makes it much easier for your brain to grab when you need it in a conversation.
Making it alive. I like that. And that actually leads us nicely into the next set of techniques, the ones that tap into how our brains love weird visuals and feelings.
Oh, yes, the fun stuff, memory tricks and mnemonics.
All right.
This is where we kind of hack our own cognition. Our brains are surprisingly bad at remembering boring lists.
Tell me about it.
But they're amazing at remembering things that are silly or exaggerated or, a bit shocking.
So for a tricky word like umbrella.
Don't just write it down 50 times.
Yeah.
Create a really ridiculous mental image. Maybe a giant umbrella blasting off like a rocket, fueled by, I don't know, singing frogs.
Okay. The sillier the better, though.
The sillier, the more vivid, the better, yeah. Or use mnemonics to link it to something you already know well. The example given was stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the dictionary definition, just picture a huge, grumpy bull completely refusing to move, dug into the earth. That visual, that feeling of immovable, that sticks.
I can see how the visual helps, but sometimes people say, oh, making up these crazy stories takes too long. Is it faster just to repeat the word?
That's a fair point. But the sources argue pretty strongly that the effort you put into creating that weird image is the learning. It's building a much stronger hook, a retrieval cue, than simple repetition offers.
Ah, so the creation is the reinforcement.
Exactly. Repetition fades fast. A bizarre story that a flying umbrella, that tends to hang around. Plus, you don't need to be an artist. Simple drawing helps too.
Drawing.
Yeah, just quick sketches. Learning tree, draw a quick stick tree. Learning happy, draw a smiley face. That little bit of physical action, plus the visual, it creates a surprisingly strong memory trace really fast.
And you can string these together, right? Like link multiple new words?
Yes. Use picture stories. Take, say, 5 new words, cat, park, ball, sun, laugh,
Okay.
and weave them into one single, maybe slightly crazy, mental image. A laughing cat playing with a sun-shaped ball in the park. Your brain connects these random items into one memorable scene.
Okay, now this next one, this feels really powerful. The emotional connection.
Oh, this is arguably the strongest tool in the box. If you can link a new word to a genuine personal feeling or memory,
Uh-huh.
it's almost unforgettable.
How does that work in practice?
Okay, take the word awkward. Instead of just its definition, actively recall a time you felt really, truly awkward. Maybe tripping over in public or saying completely the wrong thing in a meeting.
Oof. Yeah, I have a few of those.
We all do. But that real feeling, that memory, becomes a super strong anchor for the word awkward.
So you're not just learning what awkward means, you're learning what awkward feels like to you.
Exactly. It's personalized. And one more quick trick here, color.
Cull.
Yeah, just using different colors in your notes. Maybe red for difficult words, green for easy ones, or group words by topic, all food words in blue, all travel words in yellow. It adds another visual layer, makes study less dull, and helps with recall.
Okay, so we've got context, we've made words memorable, even emotional. But let's face it, even the best memory trick can fade without some structure, right? We need to talk about the long game, review, repetition.
Absolutely essential. You can't just encounter a word once, no matter how vivid the image, and expect it to stay forever. Repetition is non-negotiable.
But not just mindless repetition, you said.
Right. Not drilling it 50 times today and then never looking at it again. We need smart repetition. And that brings us to spaced repetition systems, or SRS.
Okay, explain this. Why is spaced repetition so much better than just cramming before a test?
Well, it works with your brain's natural tendency to forget things over time, what they call the forgetting curve.
Right, things fade.
Exactly. Spaced repetition schedules your review for right around the time you're about to forget the word. You catch it just before it falls off the cliff, and that review strengthens the memory much more effectively.
So instead of reviewing everything all the time, you review it like today, then maybe tomorrow, then skip a few days, review again, then maybe a week later.
Precisely. Each time you successfully remember it, the gap until the next review gets longer. Today, 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, and so on.
That sounds much more efficient.
It is way more efficient neurologically than either constantly reviewing stuff you already know solid or waiting so long you've completely forgotten it and have to start over.
Now, I know lots of people use apps for this, like Anki or Quizlet. They have algorithms to figure out those perfect timings.
They do, and they're great tools.
But can you do it yourself without an app?
Oh, absolutely. The sources are clear that even a simple manual system works really well. You could just use, say, 3 piles of flashcards or boxes.
Like review today, review in 3 days, review weekly.
Exactly, that kind of thing. Move the cards along as you get them right. The main thing is consistency and that increasing delay. And maybe reviewing at different times, bit in the morning, couple minutes lunch, quick look before bed.
Okay, but doesn't going back over old words feel tedious sometimes? And like maybe you're not making fast enough progress on new stuff.
Ah, that's a really common feeling and a potential trap. Trying to force too much new, difficult stuff all at once often leads to just feeling overwhelmed and quitting.
Burnout. Yeah.
So the sources recommend a balance. Let's say you're studying 10 words in a session. Maybe make only, say, 3 of them brand new. The other 7 are older words coming up for review.
Ah, I see. So you get that feeling of success because you actually know most of the words in the pile.
Precisely. It reduces the stress, gives you that positive reinforcement. And this actually ties into another approach mentioned, the 1 word a day idea.
Just 1 word. That sounds incredibly slow if you're trying to learn a language.
It sounds slow, I know. But think about the depth. If you really truly learn 1 word deeply each day, its meanings, uses, forms, pronunciation, maybe link it to a story or image,
Okay.
you will almost certainly remember it forever. And 1 word a day, done properly, is over 300 really well-learned, usable words in a year. It's quality over sheer quantity, ensuring words actually become active, not just vaguely recognized.
Right, not just items on a list you crammed and forgot.
Okay.
So we've got the study methods, the memory tricks. Now, moving beyond the desk
Yeah,
into like full immersion, making the language just part of your world.
exactly. Environmental immersion. If you're serious about learning, you need to surround yourself with the language as much as possible.
Simple things.
Simple things. Change your phone language. Change your computer OS language. Watch movies, maybe start with subtitles in the language you're learning. It's about constant low-level exposure, keeping it buzzing in the background.
My favorite simple trick from the sources was labeling things.
Oh, labeling is fantastic. So simple, so effective. Stick little notes on things around your house. Door, desk, mirror, window, kettle.
And every time you see the object,
You see the word. Effortless recall, multiple times a day.
yeah.
It builds that connection through sheer passive repetition and association. Bypasses formal study entirely sometimes.
You're basically turning your home into this little immersion zone, but it can't all be passive, right? We need to interact.
Definitely. Interaction is key. Seek out chances to actually use the language. Talk with friends who are learning. Join a conversation group. Maybe find some fun language learning games or apps.
Make it feel less like work.
Exactly. If it feels like play, your brain is much more receptive. You get those little dopamine hits that actually help memory.
And what about that idea of teaching to learn? How does that work for a solo learner?
Ah, the protege effect. It's powerful. Even if you don't have someone to teach, explain the new word out loud to yourself. In the mirror, if you have to.
Really? Talk to the mirror.
Why not? The act of explaining it, defining it in your own words, giving examples, maybe thinking about related words, forces your brain to organize the information much more deeply than just reading it.
Oh, okay. You have to structure it to explain it. That makes sense.
It forces retrieval and synthesis.
Yeah.
And don't forget about sound and physical memory.
Physical memory for words.
Yeah. Saying words out loud, even whispering them or singing them, uses the muscles in your mouth and throat. It's another pathway to memory. Think about learning song lyrics.
Oh, yeah. Song lyrics stick like crazy.
Right. The melody helps, the rhythm helps, and you repeat it naturally when you sing along. Uses muscle memory and auditory memory together.
Okay, so bringing a lot of this together, the active use, the context, the sound, the rhythm, there's this technique called shadowing. Tell us about that.
Shadowing is pretty intense, but very effective. It's where you listen to a native speaker, maybe from a podcast like this or a movie, and you try to repeat what they're saying at the exact same time as them.
Like talking over them, but
Yeah.
saying the same words.
Exactly. Like
Oh.
being their linguistic shadow or echo. It's challenging.
I bet. How does that help with vocabulary specifically?
Because it forces you into high-speed processing and production. You're not just listening, pausing, then repeating. You have to understand, process the sound, access the vocabulary, and reproduce the pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation almost instantaneously.
Wow.
It directly connects the sound, the meaning and context, and the physical act of saying the word, all synchronized. It really pushes passive recognition towards instant active use, which is the goal, right?
Absolutely. Active vocabulary. So shadowing kind of pulls everything together.
It really does. High-speed active use, context, physical practice, all rolled into one.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for you, the listener? It seems pretty clear from the sources. Ditch the boring lists.
Yeah, forget the lists. Success comes from building this rich web of connections around each word. Pictures, sounds, feelings, personal stories, real-life situations. Every new word needs an experience attached to it.
And be consistent, right, a little bit every day. And really commit to reviewing the old stuff, using that spaced repetition idea.
Definitely. Make it fun where you can. Use stories, use color, and, importantly, don't be afraid to forget.
Forgetting is okay.
It's more than okay. It's part of the process. Every time you forget a word and then have to actively retrieve it again, you are actually making that memory trace stronger than it was before. Mistakes are learning opportunities.
And finally, that idea of just living inside the language seems crucial. Those labels, changing your phone settings, it makes the brain treat the language less like a school subject and more like, well, reality.
Exactly. So here's a final thought to take away. If you want to make a word your friend for life, think about one slightly unusual place or item in your daily routine you could label right now. Go beyond the obvious door or window.
Like what?
Maybe label the kettle you use every morning, or the remote control you always lose, or stick a note on the bin that says take out the trash. Something tied to a regular action. Where could you put just one label today to kickstart that immersion?
Good question. Start labeling, start connecting, maybe even try some shadowing.
You've got the strategies now. Go make
Right.
those words stick.